Hello, everyone. So, look at that beautiful view back there. I'm here about 5 days a week. I always wanted to live on the beach, and I finally made it come true after my divorce a few weeks ago. So, I want to talk about this year. I got divorced in 2018, and I've been dating ever since. And I'm a professional woman, I make money, but there's so much in the last 3 years I've learned about the dating scene. And so I'm going through this with you. Being a medium, I have access to, different things and different tools. I work with different beings of integrity and light, like Archangel Metatron is a well-known one, and other beings as well, for assistance. So I just want to talk about the different beings that have been introduced to me through my guides. And I've had 2 different marriage discussions. And I want to talk about it because I'm finding out in the space that women aren't talking about this. Like, why not? Right. And I know why. It's because I know what I want and I have a good life and I know what I want. And so because of that, I can be very clear. My life is good without you. So if you're going to add to it, we're not going down. And that's literally what I told a guy, because I'm dating a construction, a guy who owns his own construction company. So I want to talk about that. So the most, I would like for women to get comfortable talking about this. So the guys that I'm dating, one guy was like an on again, off again. He's a bit dusty. I mean, I love him. He's my soulmate, but he's dusty. That's why we're not getting serious. I had a conversation with him. So met him, we were going, and I think I mentioned it where I was saying, listen, I like you, but because of your pathology, I don't know if I want to have kids with you. So if we did, before we got married, I literally told him, and I was just being really serious. And I was like, look, I got to be blunt because I can't hide this. I got to be really blunt. So take it as you want. But because you get so crazy and paranoid about having kids, I don't know if you even like them. So if we got together and got married, I would need a couple things. One, I need you to make more money. I think he was making like 17 an hour. Like, he's a nice guy, but like, no, like, he's a soulmate. So like, there's a ton of love and unconditional love, which is nice, but like, logically, no. And he had been asking me to marry him, but I'm just like, that can't happen. And I remember I sat him down and I was like, these are my serious things. You have to make more money, at least 70K. Like, that's what you need, because that could literally take care of a family on that one salary. I'm okay with that. It does not need to match me. I know some of you guys are out there, it's like hypergamy or nothing. I don't need that. I take care of myself so well. You just need to be able to match that energy, have your own house and take care of me. Like, my stuff's going to get taken care of, but you at least need to match it. And I remember I also told him, because of, are you going to be here with the kids or not? Like, would you disappear or not? And it's weird. It's just, he just has a weird thing with kids. Like, he says he wants them, but like, I just wasn't sure. My instinct was saying we have to talk about it. I was like, I would want you to make an account for the kids, that I have access to, where you put, I want 2 more kids. I want you to put $1,200 a month, $600 for each kid. And it's from now until they go to kindergarten. So then they can afford private school, and we've already put away from it. And if we don't end up getting married, whatever, you keep the money. That's your little savings plan I forced you to get. We do get married and say we divorce like later, whatever, I still keep that money for the kids. It was just legacy, legacy, legacy. My kids, my daughter goes to private school, my other kids will go to private school. That is my minimum standard. It just is what it is. And I swear to God, he was looking at me like I was crazy, but that was okay. Because if you know what you want, it's okay to ask for it and get it. Now, I say that one smoothed over because at the end of the day, I didn't say I need the money, although I could have. But I'll just be very honest. I'm just not in that world where I'm okay with this. Like, I don't need to be in this world. Or I'm like, well, you also need to get an account for me and put money in my account. I don't do that. Like, if you do, that's fine. Because I take care of myself, right? Like, no man enters, the house is still taken care of. I'm still going on trips. I still live near the beach. Like, life is good, So if I can't give you any advice on that, like super hypergamy, sugar mama, I can't. It's just not even in my nature, because like, I don't need it. When I have conversations about money, it's about my kids. Like, yeah, you're gonna put money in this account, and I'm being modest, for the kids. It is for them. You leave, the kids get it. It doesn't matter. My kids, my kids, my kids. And I mean, that's part of why the guys I talk to like me, is because I already have my own stuff together. So they're just like, wow, she already built that. Let's keep building together. So, and I thought that was so funny because I was like, I don't know how this guy's going to take it, but I said what I said. And here's the deal. I'm 40. When I first got married, I didn't have prenups and I didn't have shit, right? Oh, I had a couple rental properties, but the rental properties are already in my name. And, you know, so since I came into the union with it, I wasn't worried about it. But I did not have these discussions in my first marriage. But, you know, 8 years later, knowledge, looking around, understanding what mistakes you went wrong, I do now. And so now having my life together, I'm not just going to add someone who could be a wrecking ball into it, right? So these needs to be discussed. And I want to share what I'm discussing because I never really hear any women talking about discussions about the marriage. Like they don't talk about these things up front. They think it and they want it, but they just don't have it. I just want you to know, you know, it turned out okay. Even though like, he's like, okay. I was like, think about it. I thought he disappeared, but he actually didn't. He was like, okay, that's fine. So all you women have like all this trepidation that they're going to tell the men what they want and the men are going to leave him, which if he did, because I wanted him to be extremely aggressive with my kids, then bye. Like, okay, good. Don't waste my time. But like, don't be scared to have them leave, right? So that was an interesting discussion. Like I said, I think I don't get caught because I think if I would say I need an account just for me, that's when it's like, well, who are you? And I think that's where it gets messy. But I don't need that because I'm coming as a full grown adult who's financially stable, right? Financially free in most ways. So that was that discussion. That was about some months ago. And I actually talked about us having that discussion. He actually did get a new job and he got it to like 60 some and now he's back to like 50 something. But I thought that was really cool because he did it. So if a guy likes you, he will do what you need him to do. As long as you put the negotiation in terms of we need this for this future, as long as you can build a vision for what this money's for, I found these negotiations and discussions to be very, very easy. So don't hesitate to have it, but have it for a reason. Is it just for you or is it for something bigger for everyone, right? So I can have these discussions because I don't do things just, I do for me. If I'm having a discussion with you, it's for us and our kids. And I'm really big on legacy, really big on my kids having everything they want. And access to different things we didn't have. I just am, it just is. I don't know why. My daughter says she wants a pony and riding lessons. We gonna get second jobs and she gonna get riding lessons. It just is what it is. I don't know why I'm like this, but I'm just about this about my legacy. So any man walking into this, I'm very clear up front. Our kids are gonna get what our kids are gonna get. Like, and I have no idea why I have this driving need. It's probably spiritual on some level, but I do. I just find legacy to be very important and access and giving them anything, you know, what they need to survive in this world and thrive. So that was some months ago. So now I'm dating a new guy. And I also wanted to talk about this. So you guys know I work with I'm a medium. So spirit world and I are very close friends. And I work with like some benevolent beings. And I was like, okay, universal forces, I want this. I gave a list. I wrote it out. I was like, this is what I want. They're like, boom, here. So the first guy was a police chief. Okay, didn't work out. Good guy. Bit of a scuzz bucket underneath. Got rid of him. You brought this second guy. Second guy, we're talking about marriage, okay? And it's been about 3 weeks. And I want to say a couple things about it. If a guy likes you, you'll know. So don't waste time. When I'm on the dating apps, I am so quick to go, oh, hi, yeah, are you this question, this question, this question. I have 3 questions. They pass that, I'm like, video chat. Because you ain't catfishing me anymore. I've been catfished before. We're not doing that. Literally, they disappear. They either disappear. Hey, Coco Truffles. Oh, I think we just met. I think we were posting and commenting back and forth. Literally, me trying to get them on a video chat because I'm not going to meet you at a restaurant until I video chat with you because I'm not getting catfish anymore. About 70% ghosts because at the end of the day, they didn't want a relationship. They wanted a text partner so they can stay in this fantasy and get all this attention from you. So word to the wise lady, get them to commit to a video chat or a date as soon as possible. I'm so aggressive with it. 70% are like, yeah, let's, okay. I never hear from them. I'm like, oh, so you literally just wanted to waste my time. You didn't want anything serious. Most of them don't, ladies. Stop indulging them. Get them on a video chat or phone. They don't. They just want to, they are fed by the fantasy. They didn't actually want to go on a date. Because me saying let's video chat is not a big deal if you actually want them. The 30% that do, they actually want you. Okay, video chat, then a date. Half of them drop off. They didn't really want. They didn't really want to take you out. They again just wanted the fantasy. Okay, so nothing to do with me. Just wanted the ones that do. Boom. So I would say if you're still dating on the apps, it's not the app, it's how you navigate them. Like, you don't have to be aggressive as I am, but like, get them to go through the process. They'll drop off because they weren't serious in the first place, but you being this like really upfront about it will shake them loose really quickly. So then we finally go on a date, and this is, like I said, it's the universal match, and he's great. Now he's 5'9". I did tell him I prefer 6 feet, but this was negotiable. When I work with these energies, I was like, that's negotiable. But financially as well as me or better. So he's financially better than me, a contractor. So, you know, I pull an X amount each month. He doubles that. And, you know, I'm above 6 figures, right? So very good. He's very masculine, which is what very much a provider. Which is why he was just like, as soon as he's like, oh, okay, you want me to fix this around your house? I can do this, I can do that. Because he's a really good contractor. So he has like huge referrals. People love him. I've seen his work. I've seen some stuff I was struggling for a few months. He thought it was like, oh, you can just do this, take a board, do this. I was like, oh my gosh, you're really good. No one's been able to give me a good answer on this in like 2 years. So he's great. He's really good. And so his looks wise, he's a roughneck. I am not. I dress in furs and dresses. Like I said, I like the stature that gives me and how people respond to me, right? That's what I do. He does not. But very masculine, very much a provider, very much likes Lisa. And I'm a bit of a sucker, but if you like Lisa, I like you. I'm not being vain. We actually, because he's in business and I'm in business, we actually get along really, really well. I'm like, I'm going to Quebec because I'm learning French right now. He's like, oh, okay. I was like, would you like to come? He's like, cool, got it. Doesn't even, I don't have to pay for anything. Not look at me crazy. No, you're mine, right? And I want to talk about that because you got to hurry up and put them through the paces. If they really like you, you don't have to question. And I think so much of us are in trouble because, I mean, we're taking them being okay with hanging out with you as they like you. That's not the same as someone who wants to provide and protect for you. Right? So just hurry up and get them through that process so you find out quicker, because I don't have time to waste. I have a kid. I want to lose weight. I'm trying to eat healthy. There's so many things that take up my time. I like sewing. I'm redecorating my house. All these things take time. I have to run a business, like an online business. All those take up my time. So I just do not have time for if you want to waste it. So I'm just real quick to get it out and through. But then I also want to say, when a guy likes you, you know, and stop wasting time with people who don't. But I want to tell you about some of the stuff we were talking about. So it's very funny. I'm a woman and he's a man, and I'm in my feminine energy. He's in his masculine. So it's very interesting as we're getting to know each other, the things that he needs. So one of the things that he brought up was like, hey, I do not have casual sex and I want monogamy and exclusivity. He's ready to call me his girlfriend. I said, hold there, buddy. I just got to see how I want to see what other matches the universe has for me, but like, you're a strong contender. And his first thing was like, I want monogamy, exclusivity pretty quickly, and I want to wait to do things. I'm like, is there anything wrong with it? He's like, no, I felt it. There's nothing wrong with it, but whatever. So we're good on that. And, so that was his one thing. And the other thing he brought up was like, okay, with your real estate knowledge and my contractor knowledge, like, would you be open to us working together and putting that together? I'm like, yeah, because I like making money and you're good at what you do. We can like kill it. We can kill this game. Absolutely. So it's very interesting because that's what he cares about. Money and monogamy. He's like, I'm doing all this stuff for you. And I just thought that was cool to see because that's what his priority is as a very masculine energy contractor. And then my thing was, which is a lot longer of a list, but I still told him because I am where I'm at. I'm at a certain class, at a certain elevation. Oh, thanks, Coco. So I just want to say what I told him. We've had 3 discussions on my stuff. On his stuff, it's like, oh, okay, monogamy. Okay, yeah. Well, when I make that decision, easily we'll be monogamous and exclusive. When I make that decision, I have not. I'm still taking this all in. Although you are a very serious contender, serious contender. So my list of things is, hey, he's like, I have a bad back. Well, he was like, oh, his back was stiff. And I was looking at it. And I was like, oh, what happened? He's like, it just stiffens up. I was like, well, do you stretch it? Do you do this? Do you do that? And he's like, no. I was like, okay, we got to talk about that. Because I'm not having some dude with all these medical issues because you don't take care of it. I just don't. Because my idea of getting old is that you can get old and that does not mean you have to look old. You don't. Your skin doesn't have to look old. Your body doesn't have to look old. If you take care of your body starting now all the way up to 70, I see ballerinas who are 80 doing their thing because they took care of their bodies. So to me, your age has nothing to do with the shape of your body. And that is my lifestyle. So I had a couple conversations. The first conversation was like, look it, I take my health important. I shop at Whole Foods, or I try to be as organic as possible. I think about weight loss. I want to lose another 25 pounds. I move differently because we were dating and I was gaining a little weight because I was following in his habits a little bit. And I was like, oh, wait. We're not doing this. I'm not going backwards. So anyone I'm with, if your habits and your eating habits and your lifestyle habits are just trash and you don't want to make them better, I'm not doing it. I didn't say I wouldn't date him anymore. I'm just saying I am not doing that. So if that means we're not hanging out, that means we're not hanging out because I can't have, it's hard enough to have the discipline to live that certain lifestyle. I'm not going to be around someone who drags me down. So we had a conversation about that. And he was like, well, I do like hot dogs. And I was like, no. And I'm not telling you need to change for me, but I'm saying, like, you need to understand I eat this way. You need to understand I try, I go to the stupid expensive farm to table. I go to First Watch versus IHOP and Denny's. Not that IHOP and Denny's isn't good, but First Watch, you can taste the organicness of the food. You can taste that it's fresher. You can taste that it's a higher quality. So you pay more than you would pay at the other place. That is the priority I have said I'm going to spend my money on. And I was like, listen, and I was like, if you're eating horribly and that's just not going to jive. I don't want it. You can keep it. But in my house, in my lifestyle, it's hard enough for me to keep discipline. I can't have someone who's constantly taking me back. I said it's like someone who was addicted to drugs and went to rehab. You can't go around people doing drugs if you want to stay clean. Like, it's just not how you do it. You got to stay around people who are in a clean lifestyle. Same thing with food. So that was our first discussion. And I was like, my lifestyle is this, and you don't have to agree with it, but I'm saying I'm not going down. So I've elevated up into this and I take it as a priority, like food and thinking about what we're going to eat is like a big thing. Like, can you do that? And I was like, your health, like you being 50, but you can't walk is a reflection of the care you put into it. I go to a chiropractor every 3 months. I don't do back-breaking construction work. You do. So I'm putting more care and time, and I stretch out every day because otherwise I get stiff and I can hurt myself. I stretch out every day and care for my body more than you do. And you put your body through more rigorous activities. So if you're hurt by the age of 45, and he's a younger guy, but all the guys who want to marry me are younger. It's just what it is, which is fine. You're harder on your body, but you're not I'm just not having it. Cause I was like, listen, I'm just gonna be very honest. If we get up there and your back is all seized in 6 years, but you have done no effort to do daily stretches, no effort to do chiropractic work, no effort to, do this for your body, no effort to eat right, I will look at you and be like, well, you got to go. Cause I don't need a man who can't, it's one thing if you get in an accident. It's another thing for me. And I was very clear. If you're not putting any effort into caring for your vessel, that is the lifestyle I am in. It's an elevated class thing. At our class, before you eat whatever is cheap. As you go up in class, you are very mindful and intentional about the things that go into your body. I am at that class. You're not bringing me down to a lower class. It just is what it is. I'm in a class where that is very serious. And that's why we eat here and pay this money, because we understand what we put into our body is reflected on the outside. You being decrepit because you're not taking the time to simply stretch. He does now, and he's like, I like it, and it does make a difference. Unless I'm stiff if I don't. But I'm like, okay, so that's the next thing we talked about. And for the most part, when I explain these things, I try to explain why. I always tell him you don't have to do it, but for me to be serious about adding you to my lifestyle, you have to elevate. So we're actually having more class conversations, but as a woman, that's generally what I care about. My kids' legacy, social elevation, right? And that's just natural. So he was on board with that, which was really cool. He understood what I was saying. And now he's like, are you sure with your keto? We can do it. No carbs. I'm like, you got it. And we are good. Right. He is on board. He's doing his thing. He understands that like I don't want to nag, but like I can't have someone with bad habits in the life. And then the third one I was talking about was like, okay, this is the last thing I'm going to say, because he's a bit of a roughneck. He's a construction worker, right? So he's just rough. So I go, listen, bruh, I sort of conduct myself a certain way. I have a certain social circle. I'm in with all the private school Montessori moms. They just invited me to a fundraiser, right? I present myself a certain way. I try to take I try to take extra, like I'm not perfect. It's not about being perfect though. I do take extra parents time with my parents, with my skincare, with my hair routine, just fashion, just different things, right? That's the social class I'm at right now. And that presentation, the how I dress and present myself, just very, just, you know, I dress nicely, right? I'm not saying it's the nicest. I'm always like, if you had to decide, so like feminine business casual, like all the time, right? It just gives me a certain way. Like it gets over racism. Because you can be black all you want, and they can be racist all they want, but if you show up in a certain way in a nice little business suit, they know enough not to treat you crazy. All right? It gets over racism, it gets over classism, it gets me access to people I don't have access. So I just take it on, and it makes me look good. When you're dressing up and you look nice and you look in the mirror and you did all that extra work, I just feel good too. So I carry it with confidence. And I was like, because of that, it has given me access to people who wouldn't ordinarily talk to me when I go to a small joint or place or bar or like just a social gathering. Because I took all that time with my parents, I'll get access to people who ordinarily, if I dressed down, would not. I like that because that access gives me access to fundraisers and this and that and really good parties and just people and a network of people I like where your appearance is important. I'm like, you're a construction worker. You don't care. I get it. But all of this social stuff gives you a level of social dynamic and social power within your sphere of influence. And he's like, well, so he's really like egalitarian minded, which has gotten him in trouble. Because I'm like, I don't judge, but I make judgments. There's a difference, right? Like, I'm not judging you for being this way. I'm making judgments about you being this way, right? It's like, I don't care that you work at McDonald's. I'm not judging you for that, but I can make some judgments that you're not getting specialized degrees, that you're not making much money. Those are judgments, not judging, right? You can make judgments about a certain situation. And I think he's gotten in trouble with it. But he's like, I am someone who I can talk to the commoner, and also the general. And I think the general generally respects what I have to listen to. I was like, good point. So let's talk about that. So say we're at it, but the general can use you, like uses infantrymen. So a general who knows you're a great contractor will use your services and listen to what you have to say because that's your expertise, but will he treat you as an equal? So I was like, if you're at a military, you have to be able to dress in his dress at the military ball, talk his language, know his mannerisms, and conduct yourself with among his spins out in a way that works. And I was like, so your example is perfect. So right now, so there's a ball and you're an infantryman at the infantry table. I am at the officer's table. I want to stay at the officer's table. I do not want to I don't want to go down to the infantryman's table. There's nothing wrong with it. And I just like hanging out with the other officers. It's just an example. I'm not in the military. Right. And I was like, that does like how you feel yourself, how you comport yourself. And it was just a very interesting discussion because I am very aware. And I was like, I don't do this unintentionally. I'm very aware of every single thing that I present, of how it gives me more social credibility and power within my interpersonal relationships here in the Hampton Roads region. I'm very strategic. I'm not doing it. But like I told you guys, if you've been listening, the reason I got my spiritual development is because what do I like? I like money and power. Like are you joking about it? Like I'm not joking about it. I'm very clear about what I'm here for. Money and power. All of this adds to that. Right. And so it was just such an interesting conversation because I was like, look, I'm strong on my own, but I don't want a partner that takes me back down to the infantry table. You have to want to come up. And I'm like, you don't have to do any of this stuff. And he was like, yeah, but I'll do it because I respect you, but I don't give a F. And I was just like, no one wants you around if you're looking at them like, oh, I'm just here because of her. People want you around because you're like, yeah, you guys roll a different way. That's cool. I'm okay with it because you're lovely people. That's the energy you want to bring. Not like, she makes me. I was like, I don't want that. I don't want it. Keep it. But I'm taking you seriously. Probably because he makes a lot of money. Whatever. I make a lot of money. I want you to make, it's good, right? Like I know what I want in life, right? And so it was just such an interesting discussion because I'm like, the reason I'm telling you this is because I am taking you seriously, but this is where I'm at socially. As far as like if you're talking about class, which I actually wish more Black women would talk about because that's where we fail. We have the smarts, we have the education, we have the financial. We don't employ the class. That is where they always win. But once you do, we're better at it than them. Okay, I'm better at it than them. I'm the leader. This little Black girl's the leader from the hood. And I tell people what my background is, and I'm still the leader because I understand the game. Okay. I wish I would have done this when I was at IBM and Accenture. Oh, I would have been running circles, but I didn't, and that's okay. I had to learn it through my own. And so it's just discussing, like, listen, I'm at this level. You're a roughneck. I'm not. But do you want to do it? And I was happy. And I was like, you don't have to. I don't want anyone who doesn't want it. But I am not going from the officer's table to the petty office to the infantryman's table. That's not happening. I didn't work this hard for that. And the question is, do you want to sit at the officer's table? Because that extra stuff that you don't care about as a contractor, do you want to care about it? I do. And that goes towards my kids. So who am I inviting? Who takes my daughter to private school every day? One of the professors at the university, right? That's what my daughter has access to. Those are the parties we go to. Those are the conversations we have about. So it's you do what you want, but I like what my elevation can do for my daughter, and I'm very open about it. There's nothing wrong with it, and I know how to do it. That's my skill set that I had to learn, but I learned it. And like I said, we're better at it than them and the circles that I'm in. It's access that normally most people who look like me don't have, not because you can't, but because you don't know the rules. If you don't know the rules, you can't play the game. If you're not playing the game, you're not even in it. Okay. And I was saying, look, you have the money, you have the expertise, but your mindset doesn't prioritize those things. But in order to stay in that social, and I'm a woman, so of course I'm thinking about social class and elevation, right? But and I already have it. Like I said, I'm at the officer's table, right? I'm not the general's wife, but I'm at the table. They like to invite me over. I get invited to the things because I'm a good person, right? And I have that extra element that brings things up a little bit, and they appreciate that. That's one of the things I embody. And I was like, do you want to? I don't want to go back down. And it was interesting because I was like, I threw a lot on you, so think about it. But, he's a good one because he came back and he was like, okay, when it comes to dress, you're going to have to take me shopping. I'm like, actually, that's last. What we're going to do is sit down and look at different fashion plates. You're going to choose what style. Do you want like Wyoming Farmer Ranch rustic? Do you want metrosexual? Do you want Philadelphia winter clothes? Do you want... And he's like, my body type is more like a Hispanic man. So they told me I should go to Mexico City. I was like, well, go to Mexico City, but we can look at Mexican men's fashions, just because he literally does have that like body type, right? And so you can see what they do and how they elevate that particular look, which could be a little stockier versus the slimmer aspect of it. He's half Native American, so that's where it comes. So that's also a conversation. I was like, you don't know your dad, he was Native American, but you're going to know it because that's going to be my daughter. Any kids we have, that's their legacy. You bet she's going to go visit those family members every single week. That is what you're bringing. That is heritage and legacy that I can use as something that is valuable. So that's another thing. He's like, I don't really talk. I was like, you're going to. We're going to use it. My daughter, just like she goes to, I don't like hoofing out there to Vegas all the time. She visits her Black side of the family all the time. If she has Native American or any like that, we're going to visit them every week. And we're going to be like, oh, no, we know all the songs and stuff. That is a lot of social credit in this country. Okay. So there's another thing he didn't care about. I was like, oh yes, the hell we do. Oh yes, we are caring. Oh yes. I don't care if he's a loser. I know how to work with losers. You're going to invite them out to eat. They like free stuff. Okay. You're going to buy your way into understanding and the connections, but whatever. But that's just another thing we're having conversations about. But yeah. And he came back and was like, okay, with the dress, the look and all that, I see what you're saying. I got to think about it, but it looks like he sort of saw why I said I wanted this, what I wanted to do, and he's willing to step into that and understand it. So negotiations have not broken down. We are still in negotiations. It's a long road, but I just wanted to talk about like don't be scared to have these conversations. But I just say if you want to massage it, you want to use a little intelligence about the conversation. Just put it in terms of your vision that you have for us, right? If you say it's just for you, no one cares about just you, right? Like no one wants to just give to a whole. So if you say the vision I have for our families, we live in this neighborhood, the vision I have is they go to this school, the vision I have is that we're invited to all these things, the vision I have is that we look good. Don't be afraid to say it, because if you attach it to a vision, it's not about you, it's about us. And either they're with the vision or they're not. Like at the end of the day, the guy I'm talking to, universe is sending me another word person, because I just want to try a couple more before I just like decide on this one, although he's really good. But still, like, we're going through the process, and don't be scared to have the conversations. Just put it in terms of like, this is what I want to see for us. I hope this was helpful for some perspective. I find that I'm always really vocal about stuff, and that's always helped me, even if it's really blunt. And then I don't get in the messes I find a lot of other women are talking about, because they didn't want to bring it up because they were scared or fearful. And I was like, don't be fearful. They're either the right fit or they're not. And like, allow that process to happen, because you, like with the other guy that I told, and I was like, you got to make this. Like, he came up 2 months later with a job making close to it. I was like, oh, I didn't expect it. I just told you what I needed. You were providing. Oh, awesome. But like, you think, oh, they're just going to laugh you out of there. I've never been laughed at. They either said okay or they didn't. They're like, they got the fuck out. Even the home dude who got the money, he was like, oh, you told me that. I was like, F that girl. I ain't doing all that. But he did, right? And he didn't have to. I just said, I was like, listen, you do it for me, it just makes you a good person. So like, you'll better the community, you'll better yourself. So don't be scared to have this conversation. Attach it to a vision. Be clear and direct. And like, I don't think I'm weird for saying I like money and power. I'm not like, I mean, am I being honest about something? But but I've also done the work behind it. And so at the end of the day, I'm more like, this is the work I've done. This works. You're not taking me back down. Okay. You're just not. And so, my words I use is like, I just don't want it. You can keep it. I don't want it. I use it all that, like, you can keep it. I don't want it. I don't want that in my life. It's a good life. The person I have, does he have that already? No. Has he shown that like he has the intellect? He's a smart man. He has the intellect to understand that where I'm coming from. So even though it's not his thing, I explained it in such a way that he could see, okay. And I was like, at the end of the day, that's not your social circle. Your social circle is like, they don't dress up. They're very down home. My social circle is not. My social circle is the kind where you kiss on the cheek. It is the kind where you bring presents if they invite you to a housewarming party. It is the kind that, everyone dresses really well. It is that kind. And at the end of the day, it's not going to hurt you to be able to elevate and be able to go from back and forth and understand this is how we roll. And that's just going to get you more business, right? And I told him, I guarantee you, when your friends meet me, they're going to invite me and you to more places. I know the effect I have on people. I guarantee you. So that's what you get. Your friends who like you now are going to like you more. My friends who, once they realize they already respect me. I'm an author, real estate investor. Like, I have a warm, engaging personality. My daughter's fun. I throw great parties. Like, they already like me, right? I dress nice. That is actually a social benefit. That's a social added value class benefit. I was like, I'll guarantee you'll get more business. So I'm just being very open and ruthless about this conversation. But I don't know, like, any guys I've had these ruthless conversations with, they all liked it. They all were just like, okay. It's just because I was just so clear and not scared. So I don't know if that scares you, but it all went over well. Now it's like, it's my standard to have these very, very direct conversation about what my goals and endpoints are. And I want to encourage Black women to not be so scared. And this is what, one was Black, one was white. Of course, the one with money is white, but like, but still, like, no one was scared away. They actually, once I explained the vision and why and where I'm going and what I've accomplished and why I want to keep going, every single one was like, okay. And they liked it because I was the woman and the feminine energy. I gave them the boundaries. Yeah, you care about money. You care about monogamy. That's what men care about. Well, I care about social status and elevation, about my daughter, her access, and getting the best for my kids and legacy. I care about my social status as a woman, right? Duh. And I care about my legacy. Right now, you'd have to go into that. I'm okay with working with you if you're open to it, but you have to want it, and I'm not going to nag you. I don't want to nag. I don't want it. Again, I don't want it. Honestly, if you guys got to that point and just was like, I don't want it, so do whatever the heck you want, it'd be amazing how people are willing to step into that role or not, but like, that's also good too. So I hope this was helpful. So any questions or any feedback about it? I didn't know. I just think this is like okay to have, and it's okay to have 3 weeks in. If they like you, they're going to be bringing these conversations up. And I just think we spend too much time on people who just want to use us. You know how many people want to use my energy, use my body, use my time, use my warmth. Just use. Men want to use, which I mean, as long as it's an equal exchange, right? Like I'm not too upset at that. But you need to know they're using you, and I think a lot of us just don't because they don't know what it's like to have a guy who really wants it. So if you bring up marriage in the beginning, first, second week, or start talking about like if we were serious together and see the conversation. If he runs, let him run. If he does it, he actually really does like you. And would you rather do that than save time? All right, that's it. So I'll let you guys go. Hope you guys enjoyed that one, and I hope it gave you perspective. Maybe you guys needed it, maybe you don't. I find most women in general aren't this blunt about it. I am because I've just built something great, and you either add to it, not take down. But I'm just so clear of everything I've done to get to this point that like it's clear if you're going to do either or. And I was like, let's get it out on the table. And I was like, hey, think about it. Maybe you just don't care. You just want to be a roughneck for life. Do it. Like, I'll have to decide if that's what I want to accept. Probably won't. I probably will just keep going and keep looking. But if he's willing, I could work with it. Oh, and FYI, he's a great contractor. He's 5'9". Now I'm 5'3". I'm okay with that. My ex-husband was 5'6". I know I asked my guides, I was like, okay, can I just pray for if I have a boy that he's taller and like change his genetics, DNA? And they're like, yes. I know that sounds crazy, but you can do so many things. You guys, you do so many things, guys. You have no clue how you can program everything. And so I was like, okay, so he's a little shorter, but we can get tall kids. We can do that. I can manifest that. Guide said I could. And what was I going to say about that? Oh, I just wanted to say, like, he might be overlooked by a lot of you women because he's 5'9". So I don't know. I just clean up with the 5 foot. Like, you want to get married, just go a little shorter. Every guy I dated who was like 6 and above was always like a dick, or they just like really standoffish because they have so many women chasing them. And I'm not chasing anybody, so it just never works out with the old taller guys because they're like, I'm looking for the hottest. I'm like, get the fucking hottest. Get out of here. Or your guys' terrible relationships too. Like they have really bad they get the most hurt, honestly, because it's so shallow, and the people are with each other just for looks. And it's just like they get the most hurt and trauma because of it. Honestly, that's been my experience from what I've seen. And also, yeah. So I would say on the look scale, he's like a 6. I would put myself at a 7 or 8. But that's what I told him. Like, you have to work on it. Like, you have a beard in the winter, and you can make a clean beard. If you have skin issues, you can get good skin. I do. I have a regimen. So, like, you have to care about your appearance and making it the best that it is, because anybody can go up 2 levels. If they take the proper care. And he was like, okay. I was like, I'm just being really blunt right now, but like, trust me, we want to be on the same page, because I don't want to look at you and be like, ugh, in a couple of years when like all this newlywed stuff, it has to be able to withstand it. But you have to know that this is what it takes. This is what I'm expecting, and I mean it. So don't try to get me in, because some guys will try to get you in and then like not do it. I'm like, don't do it, because you'll find out. Like, you'll find out. Lisa will leave. I really will. You ain't messing with me because you think I'm stuck. I am never stuck. So, all right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. Talk to you later. Bye.